Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome back to these weekly readings. If you are new here, my name is Nicole, and I like to come on here every Sunday to just share messages of guidance, share messages of support as you move through these ever changing energies, and to help you better comprehend what is going on at this time. So, really, my intention is just to give you information in hopes that it will help you better comprehend what is going on internally in your lives, giving you information and tools that will help you better navigate this, but also to better comprehend what is happening in the world at large, because there are many, many big changes that are happening and that will continue to change and continue to happen as we keep moving forward. So, really, the main thing that I want to share before we get started here is that the more that we are able to start embracing change and stop fearing it, because change really is the only constant in our worlds. And when we realize that we actually have the power to bring about the change that we desire, and that the change that happens that takes us a little bit unexpectedly are changes that are taking place so that we can see ourselves in a different light. And they're really opportunities for learning, opportunities for us to see where we are maybe stuck in a pattern that we haven't been aware of. And as we continue sort of playing out the same games over and over, eventually we start to become aware of them, and then we're able to change them. So this is the concept of becoming more aware of our shadow aspects, and rather than turning away from them and pretending they don't exist, well, we can better understand them, and we can understand where they're coming from, and we can work to heal them, and we can work to change the parts of ourselves that we're not necessarily happy with, or the parts of ourselves that we generally like to push to the back of our cupboard and pretend it isn't existing. So, at the time of reading this, on Friday, we had a full moon in the sign of Aries. And full moons represent the completion of an energetic cycle. And generally, the full moons can be quite intense in that the light of the full moon helps to shed light on the parts of ourselves that are no longer serving. And with this being in the sign of Aries, and Aries dominating the self, dominating the head, Aries, the archetype of Aries is the self, is everything that is to do with you and putting yourself first. And we live in a world again where we're continuously told that putting ourselves first is selfish, but this is really not the case. If we do not put ourselves first, then nobody is going to put ourselves first. So with this full moon in Aries, we have been helped to identify what parts of ourselves are not allowing us to continue to put ourselves first, but continuously put others first because we're uncomfortable with ourselves, or because we have shitty boundaries, or because of past traumatic experiences that we've had. We always try to please everybody because the programming that is running inside of us is probably that, the only way for me to be of value is to be liked by people. But this is not the case. We're told that we have to be liked by everyone, but this is just really not true. And this was a major realization for me when I was such a people pleaser. And one day when I was sitting in meditation and I was sitting in contemplation and, wondering why I was feeling all the ways that I was, I received a message from the universe. And the message was, I did not come here to make friends. And this was such a major revelation for me, because I really thought that I had to like everyone and that everyone had to like me. And this word like, I mean, like is such a it's just such a random kind of like neither here nor there word, where why do we need to be liked? That there are so many more such better words that can be used to define how we want to be perceived by others. Do we want to be respected? Do we want to be loved? Do we want to be treated with dignity? Do we want to be treated in the way that others want to be treated? So we're really asking ourselves to go inwards and to start paying attention to the parts of ourselves that we don't yet know, because what Aries is all about is about getting to know thyself and knowing thyself better than ever, because Aries also rules the head. And the head, well, as much as we are a body, but what governs this body is our mind. But what gives life to our mind is our soul. So when we have a better understanding of our mind, body, and soul, then we truly know ourselves. So really the questions that you should be asking yourselves is, where are you not allowing to authentically be yourself, and what parts of yourself have you not yet fully explored, or what parts of yourself are you negating because maybe your light was too bright and others asked you to dim yourself to fit in. And perhaps, especially if you find yourself here, then it means to some extent that you are a light worker, and that your soul chose to come and be here at this time to help in the ascension journey of humanity and the earth at large. Which means that you probably haven't ever fit in your world. You've always probably felt somewhat different, or like you didn't really belong, or that you didn't really do things in the same way that other people did. And this is because you are different. And the importance of you being here now at this time is for you to honor your difference and to share your difference with the world. So the first card that came out is the Wise One. Grow within your current situation. Yes, and interesting how she has the crow, she has the owl there, and the owl, a synonym of knowledge. You know, many great cultures symbolize the owl as having great wisdom, as being a wisdom keeper. And yes, if you are here now, it is because you have great wisdom inside of you. But again, you know, and as human beings, we all have so much wisdom inside of us. Our DNA alone is carrying millions and millions and millions and millions of bits of information, and there is so much information that is encoded in our DNA, that there is so much wisdom inside of us, and our souls are ancient and our souls are all knowing. You have to remember that our souls, or our spirits, are just a reflection of God. They are a part of God. They are a part of the universe. They are a part of the great supreme creator who created each and every one of us and everything we see in the world and on this planet, and those far out into our galaxies and our cosmos. So when you start to tune inwards, and you allow yourself to know yourself from a deeply spiritual perspective, because remember, you are not your body, you are not your mind, but you are your soul. You are a soul being having a human experience, and there is so much wisdom inside of your soul, but unless you go looking for it, you don't even know it's there. Remember, we don't know what we don't know. So unless you actively go seeking for what you don't know, you will never know what is hidden inside of you. And you know, sometimes when we embark on this journey of trying to better know ourselves, this journey can take us to some places that we never expected it to. And I mean, I, for one, can definitely say that that is the case for me. I never, ever, ever, ever would have thought that I would be here doing videos on YouTube using cards and astrology and intuitive reading, because I just didn't believe that that was a thing. So yes, you are being asked to grow in your current situation. And when you believe that you have the wisdom inside of you, and that you don't need to continue looking outside of you all the time, then you will receive all the messages that you need. You will receive deeper messages that you will not find in the outside world. And especially as we are going through this shift, a shift, mind you, that was talking about by many ancient civilizations, we are living in a time of great prophecies coming true. And so when we go inwards, we are actively strengthening our connection to our higher self. We are actively strengthening our connection to God, the universe, whatever it is that you want to call it. And this is where we start to receive deep, deep, deep wisdom. Wisdom that is relevant for you, but wisdom that might also be relevant for others. Because remember, when you improve, those around you also improve, because you inspire others to do better, to be better. And the thing is, when we know ourselves, we automatically have more comfort in who we are. We automatically feel better within our lives and better within ourselves, because we know who we are. And we don't need to depend on a whole bunch of random people and random strangers, or even friends and family, to define who we are. For the longest time, I had no fucking clue who I was. And this left me in a state of such sadness and such depression and such a lack of purpose. I had no reason to get up in the morning, because I was just kind of moving to the beat of everybody else's drum, wanting so much to be accepted by others, when I wasn't really questioning what it is that I wanted for myself. So ask yourself, what do you want for yourself? And what do you want to do? Not because you've been told that this is the right thing to do or this is going to make other people happy, but what do you want to do because it will make you happy? Because remember, Aries is also about taking action within the physical. So now there is a need to grow within your current situation. And the way that you can grow is by actively removing yourself from whatever that situation is not working for you. Because so many of us get stuck in comfort zone. And because it's comfortable, and even if we're not necessarily our happiest self there, because it's comfortable and because it's we know, and because as human beings we're adverse to change and we're scared of the unknown, we tend to stick there and we'll complain and we'll complain and we say, oh my God, my life is shit and this is not good and this is not good and I hate this and I hate that. But how many of us actually do something about it? So remember, beautiful souls, you have the power to make the changes that you desire, but only you can make the changes. Only you have the power to shift yourself out of the current situation in which you are not happy and to move into a situation that is better for you. So the next card we have is Snake. Shed old skin. Yes, you are being asked to shed your old skin. As the world is going through the process of ascension, the earth is going through a process of ascension, but each and every human being is also going through a process of evolution. And, we throw the word around ascension, ascension. What does that mean? And so for me, when I talk about ascension, it's the process of elevating your consciousness. It's the ability to start using higher levels of your mind. And really, this starts to tap into the subconscious mind, which is full of a wealth of information where when we start looking at the world and acting, from a place of higher consciousness, then we really wouldn't be in this current state of affairs today. But most of us, because we are constantly in a state of fight or flight, or even freeze for some. Many of us are stuck in fear. Many of us are stuck in survival. That when we're in these low states of vibration and these low states of emotion, it's very hard for us to be making decisions, making good decisions. When you're in a place of survival, your brain is not working properly, so you're not making rational decisions. So ask yourself, where are you stuck in fear? Where are you stuck in survival mode? Where are you not taking steps now because of things that happened in the past? Where are you allowing your past to still be stuck and affecting your current present moment? Because most of us, if we haven't healed our traumas, if we haven't healed our wounds, if we are still walking around with a whole bunch of suppressed emotions and suppressed trauma, and we're not dealing with all of the things that are actually causing challenges and discomfort in our lives, then this process is just going to become more and more uncomfortable and more difficult until you deal with it. These points of discomfort are only uncomfortable because we hold on so strongly, not wanting to let go, because we think, who am I going to be if I'm not holding on to these things? If I can't talk about my pains and I can't talk about my traumas and I can't, play the victim card and the victim mentality, then who am I going to be? How are people going to like me? Are people going to accept me? It doesn't fucking matter if people like you or if they accept you. The only thing that matters is if you like you. And if you can't even look at yourself in the mirror and say, oh my God, I fucking love you, you are amazing, then I'm sorry to say that no one is going to love you. No one is going to treat you with what it is that you are looking for. The reasons that you are not feeling good and feeling, in a state of somewhat disgust or unworthiness, and you can't look at yourself in the mirror, is because there are things inside of you that you are being asked to shed. And the easiest way to do this, beautiful souls, is to forgive yourself. Remember, the shadow aspects of ourselves that come up that we don't want to look at and we don't necessarily feel comfortable looking at, these generally are created as a coping mechanism for when something went wrong, when we experience some kind of trauma. And emotional trauma is very, very real. So if we experience some kind of trauma or some kind of difficult situation that we didn't know how to deal with, then what will happen is that we will disassociate, and we will allow something else to come in and take command of our vessel. And this is why when we enter into a state of disassociation, when we somehow abdicate our throne and we leave our vessel, we are opening ourselves up for other things, other entities, other parts of ourselves that aren't really the real versions of us. We are allowing them to take command of our vessel. And this is when we find ourselves doing the things that we then ask ourselves, why do I keep doing this? Why do I keep reaching for the bottle? Why do I keep, smoking that cigarette? Why do I keep putting food in my mouth that I know isn't good for me? Why do I continue to engage in toxic behavior when I know that it isn't good for me? Because this is the shadow aspects of you. When you abdicated your throne, you allowed other lower vibrational parts of you to now take command over your vessel. So this is why it is time to shed all the parts of ourselves that are not in the highest good for us individually, but also in the highest good for those around us, because our actions do have an effect on the people around us. So start paying attention to how your actions are affecting you and how your affections are how your actions are affecting the people around you. So the next card we have is Heart Guardian. Let love and let yourself be loved. Yes, beautiful souls. Most importantly, if you cannot love yourself, then how can others love you? Because remember, everything is about vibration. Everything is energy. When you start to look at the world and better understand that everything is vibrating at a certain frequency, every single thing, the shirt that I'm wearing is vibrating at a certain frequency. The where I am is vibrating at a certain frequency. The words that we speak have different frequencies. Different emotions have different frequencies. So we have to understand that when we are still stuck in these low vibrational frequencies, then we cannot open our heart. And they talk about the heart actually being far more intelligent than our brain. And this is why when people say, well, what does your heart think? Because there are answers in our heart. And sometimes the highest vibrational responses that we need can only be found in our heart. But yes, this can be scary. It can be scary to step out of our comfort zone and step into the unknown and make ourselves vulnerable and open ourselves up to be hurt. But when we listen to our heart and we learn to love ourselves more than anything, because when we are in a state of love, and really when we love ourselves, then we respond to the world in a very different way than when we are in a state of self-hatred and self-loathing. So ask yourself, where can you open up to be loved? Many of us, we can be so giving of love, but we find it difficult to receive love in return. So, sometimes using affirmations are very helpful in helping us to identify where we have limiting beliefs. So, you can use the affirmation, it is safe to open myself to give and receive love, and see how you feel. Notice if your body is rejecting that statement. Notice if, a mind, something pops up in your mind and says, absolutely not, it's not safe for me to receive love. Then that is something that you need to work on. That is something you need to unpack. You need to ask yourself, why? Why is it not safe for me to receive love? Why do I not feel that it is okay for me to be loved, whether by me or by others? And start to unpack these things. Start to ask yourself why you are not allowing yourself to be loved. And the thing is, if you cannot love yourself, then nothing else can love you, because you find yourself in the frequency of non-love. You find yourself in the frequency where you are blocking yourself off from receiving the love that is rightfully yours. And remember, love comes in many different ways. Putting yourself first, setting up boundaries, doing things that will work for you in the long term. And the thing is, because we live in a world of instant gratification, we're so quick to turn away from the discomfort and say, oh no, I don't want to feel this, because I can eat this piece of chocolate right now and it's going to feel great, but then down the line maybe you're going to go home and you're going to start saying, oh my god, why did I eat this? I shouldn't have eaten this. I shouldn't have eaten this. And then now you find yourself berating yourself and chastising yourself, and well, who is that really helping? So if you constantly find yourself in that state of not being able to love yourself, then you are not going to allow love to reach you, because you have closed yourself off from it. So when God is at, or the universe are wanting to give you blessings, and even these blessings might come in the state of someone offering you help, but because you're in that state of untrustworthiness, then you're gonna, you're gonna start to question, oh, what does this person want? Maybe they want something from me. And I'm only saying this because this is how I used to operate. I was so fearful that everyone always just had other agendas, but some people genuinely want to help. Some people genuinely want to be there for you. So ask yourself where you can start to open yourself up more to receive love that is being sent to you. The next card we have is, yes, full moon in Cancer. Let your fears dissolve. Yes, and here we have the energy of the full moon. The energy of the full moon that, yes, in order for you to take action, well, you cannot have fear, because if you are blocked by fear, then you're not going to get anywhere. Your fears are literally blocking you. You're stuck. You're stuck there. You're frozen in place because you can't take action. You can't move forward because you're so scared of what people are going to say, or how you're going to make people feel. It's like, well, fuck it. What matters is you. And we are in a state of being at this time where it is very, very important to make this journey very individual at this time, because if you do not understand yourself, and if you cannot love yourself, and if you cannot exist and be on your own for some time, then it means that all the relationships that you have are being created through a shadow aspect. And these connections are not genuine. These connections are being created out of fear. So ask yourself, where are your fears blocking you from moving forward, blocking you from taking the action that you need to take in order to move forward and be who it is that you need to be at this time? So the next card we have is, yes, first full moon in Scorpio. Release your blocks. Yes, this process that has been ongoing, and really since 2020, the energies that have been taking place are forcing us to go inwards. And the thing is, there is so much chaos going on in the world around us that it can feel overwhelming. It can feel scary when we start to tune into everything that's happening on in the world, and how we have no control. And it's just, we're being bombarded with so much shit in the news and in the media telling us about all these horrible things that are happening in the world. But there are so many good things that are happening as well. It's just that mainstream media might not be talking about them, but they are. And if you just tune into the good things that are happening in your life, then you will start to notice that there are good things happening. But our blocks are essentially what stops us from being able to see the reality. We're all kind of looking at the world through the perspective of our illusions, through what we perceive the world to be. But our perception and reality are two very different things. What you perceive to be going on versus what is actually going on are two very, very different things. And it's interesting, the other day when I was journaling, I received, I went down a bit of a rabbit hole for myself and started to realize that, they talk about the World Wide Web, right? And what is a web? We talk about a spider's web. And why do spiders build webs? Well, they build webs in order to trap their prey. So the World Wide Web can be looked at a great big web that was created to deceive people and to catch us in this web so that we wouldn't be able to see, so that we are essentially victims to the narrative that is being shared across the World Wide Web. Because how, everything that we are seeing it through a screen. You guys watching me on this video, you're seeing me through a screen, but you don't know if I'm real. How, I might be an AI bot. And this is the problem with, the internet these days, is it's becoming more and more difficult to distinguish between what is real and what is not. And it's great that lots of people have been given, yes, we've been given access to all kinds of information, but at least before, when we had to get our information from books that were written by people who were pros in their field, nowadays every Tom, Dick, and Harry can just share their opinion. And well, I guess that's what freedom of speech is, and I guess that's what I'm also doing here, is I'm sharing my my point of opinion. But this is where now we have become deceived by an excess of information that makes it very difficult for us to know what is real and what is not. And this is why it is so important that we be moving with a spirit of discernment. And remember, because discernment, it is not something that is tangible, it is not something that we can touch. But when we have the spirit of discernment, it means that basically your bullshit radar is super, super strong. And your spirit, because remember, your spirit, your soul, is able to identify a lot of information because your spirit lives in the non tangible realm. And remember, there are multiple dimensions, the physical dimension being the lowest vibration of them all. But what dictates and controls this physical dimension is everything that comes in the dimensions above, everything that is of the non tangible world. And so, in order for us to have a spirit of discernment, we need to be able to distinguish between what is real or not, but what is spiritually real, what is natural. Because, yes, so many things can appear real, but there is what appears real, and there is what is actually real and natural. And everything that we see in nature is real and is natural. But everything that was created by man is not natural, it is man made. So we have to be able to distinguish between the truth. What is the truth of God, of the universe, of the higher universal truths of the world, versus the man made truths that have been pushed on us for so long that they have become what we now believe. So the next card we have is Laugh at Your Demons. Yes, beautiful soul. You know, it's so funny because, and this might not be easy to hear for many of you out there, but it is unfortunate that we must admit that because so many people have abdicated their thrones and so many people have given their power away to the system, to others, to whatever, every time you abdicate your throne and you give your power away and you disassociate from your body because you don't want to deal with something, what happens is that you are allowing something else to come in and take control over you. And it is unfortunate that I have to share with you that many people are not being fully operated by themselves. They are not fully of themselves. Many people are full of parasitic energies, and these parasitic energies are coming from many, many, many different forms. They are coming through the chemicals in our food. They are coming from the pesticides that are used on our food. They are coming from low vibrational, erratic content, things that are coming, you know, the narratives that we are pushed into believing that brings us into fear, that brings us, when we are in fear, you know, we are not in a higher state of being. And the thing is, we are literally going through spiritual warfare at this time. Whether you want to believe this or not is up to you, but this is the reality of the matter. And we are being attacked by things in the non-physical world. And psychic and demonic attacks are happening now more than ever before. And whether you believe in this or not is absolutely fine. I'm not going to fight you on this, but a lot of what is happening to people is because they are being taken over by lower vibrational entities that want to take command over their body. Because what is happening at this time is that we are going through major, 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 major changes, and the earth herself is evolving, and we are moving into a higher frequency. And so anything that is in a frequency that is lower than where we are going is essentially not going to be able to evolve and move forward. And so these low entity beings that do not live in a physical vessel are trying to take over human vessels in order to do the work of the devil. And I'm being dead serious here. Many of us have demons, and this is why these demons and these demonic entities can only enter in where there are holes in our psyche. And so the analogy I like to use is the leaky bathtub. Because if we are filling our bathtub, but our bath has so many holes, then all that water is just continuing to flow out. So as we continue to do our self-work and we are being gifted the opportunity to raise our vibration and to move into the higher levels of consciousness where we are going, whether we want to accept it or not, then wherever there are low vibrational aspects, shadow aspects, you know, doubts, fears, where we do not feel good enough, where we talk badly to ourselves, where we put ourselves down, anything that we do that brings us into a lower state of vibration, well, essentially, this can only happen when this is where it is through these low vibrational moments that these demonic and lower vibrational entities can come and take control over us. So the best thing to do, laughter is so powerful. And just like crying is a way to release, blocked energy, laughter is one of the best ways. And I always find myself laughing in the worst moments, but because what happens is when we laugh, when there are low vibrational entities, beings around us, laughter pushes them away, because laughter comes from the heart. Laughter comes from joy. So when you find yourself in a moment where it feels like you just want to, hit your head against the wall because nothing is going in your, in your direction, and you just feel like you're being hit by a million different things over and over again, and you're just kind of like, why is this happening? Laugh. Just take a moment to just laugh. Remember something funny and just laugh, because laughter is truly the best medicine of all. And when we laugh at our shadow and when we laugh at our demons, this is how we expose them. And the best way to get rid of our demons is to love them. It's just that simple. Instead of hating yourself, for me, who used to hate my body, and I would look in the mirror and I would feel disgust. And every time there was a mirror around, I'd have to like hide myself not to have to look at it. And that was a demon. And so when I started laughing at this behavior and I started sending love to those parts of myself, well, things shifted really fast. So laugh. It is good to laugh. This too shall pass. Even when things feel like there's no way out, I promise you, there is always a way out. Just take a step out, go and do something fun, go and do something that's going to get your mind off of it. Watch some comedy, go and find one of your friends who's the jokester of your group, and just do something fun, and it will help to shift your vibration. Next card we have is Be of Service. Yes, beautiful souls, we came here at this time to be of service to humanity. We came here to be here at this time to be of service to God and the great creator and the universe, and to be a channel for higher frequencies to anchor into this earth. So when you are able to be of service, just know that you are in the highest vibration possible. And when you are being of service, not only to yourself, but to many around you and to your community, and even just being in your power is being of service, because you are inspiring others how they can be better and they can do better and they can do the things that they love. And when we do the things that we love, and when we're not worried so much about what other people are going to say, then we're naturally being of service to humanity, because we're showing people that there are other ways. There are ways where we can be happy and we can literally have it all. But whoever told us and who have made us believe that we can't have it all, and the only way that we can have it all is if someone else doesn't have it all, well, that's just fucking bullshit. I'm sorry to say it. So we have to change the way we see the world, because the way in which we have been programmed to see the world is very, very limiting. We're taught to look at the world through the lens of lack mentality, and that there isn't enough space and that we're all going to die. This is bullshit. I'm sorry to say it to you. This is absolute nonsense. There is more than enough space. Just when I drive around the countryside. I mean, already here in Africa, when they portray the map, they show Africa as being so much smaller than it really is. I mean, here, you can drive around for hours and not see a soul. So how are they making us believe that there isn't enough space for humanity? Maybe in the cities, maybe because we believe that we have to be a part of this matrix system, and that's why we have to live in the city. But who wants to live in the city where, there are so many other opportunities? We have to start looking outside of the box. And when you just start speaking to the universe and you ask God, how can I be of service to myself, to you, to my community, then you'll start, you have to ask the right questions. But if you keep asking the same questions that haven't gotten you the answers that you've been looking for, then maybe the questions you're asking are not right. So start asking, how can you be of service? The next card we have is Raise Your Vibration. Yes, beautiful souls, we can raise our vibration at any point in time. Nobody has control over us unless we give them that control. So when people say, you're hurting my feelings, that's absolute hogwash and absolute nonsense. The only reason that you might be hurting their feelings is because you have said something to them that is true, but the shadow aspects of themselves are not liking, they don't want to see that part of themselves, or because they've done such a great job at pushing that under the carpet and saying, no, I'm a great person, I always do good things, like I never fuck people over, or whatever, story we have going on inside of ourselves that makes us want to believe that we're a good person. But when we're behind closed doors, maybe we're not being that good person. Maybe we're not, being truly aligned to God and being all, clean as we pretend that we are. So, when somebody is saying something and they're hurting your feelings, they're only hurting your feelings because there's a part of you that doesn't want to see that part of you. So if somebody tells you something and you feel hurt, rather than getting angry at the person, thank that person and, say, hey, thanks for bringing that to my attention, because now I know a part of myself that I need to go and work on. The thing is, we all have shadow aspects and none of us are perfect. And that is okay. That is part of the human journey. So what we have to do when things come up that are uncomfortable, rather than sweep them under the rug or get pissed off at the messenger, is take the time to pay attention for yourself and ask yourself, why am I getting so affected by what this person has told me? Why is this hurting my feelings? Because a feeling is just something that you experience in your body. It's not a living being. You can't hurt it. So you can go from sadness to joy instantaneously. Right now, you can choose. If you are feeling sad right now, you can choose to be joyful. Just think about one thing that is going great in your life and be thankful for that. The thing is, we program our minds to always look at the negative, 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 that we can never see all the good things that are actually happening all around us all the time. So start paying attention and questioning, well, what are the things that I can already be grateful for? Starting your day off with a gratitude list is the best way to raise your vibration. Stop focusing on all the things going wrong and start focusing on all the things going right. Start focusing on all the good things, because even if there is a whole bunch of shit going on in your life, I'm sure that there are almost as many good things going on. It's just that you have been so focused on looking at the negative that you have forgotten how to see the positive. Next card is accept what is dying. Yes. This is a difficult time where we are all having to accept what is dying. And the world, as we have known it, is dying. And this might be uncomfortable for people to hear, but the sooner you accept this, the sooner you can be part of co-creating what the future world looks like. Because, yes, it is chaotic. Yes, it is scary what is happening. Yes, there are many changes that are taking place. And if we are not actively choosing the changes that we want to be taking place in our life, then this is going to be difficult. But the sooner that we accept that there are many things in this world that are dying, there are many parts of ourselves that are dying. There are many things that need to change, because why is it that we have not been living in a world of peace? Why is it that there is, as we're supposedly moving on and so much technology is coming into the world, how is it that the disparity between rich and poor keeps going up every single day? Why is that? Well, because this system rewards people who step on each other, which means those of us who don't want to step on each other to get ahead, we are being left behind. And that is a good thing, because that system is not a system that is based on divinity. That is a man-made system that is based on survival and fear tactics. So when we realize that we all, every single 8 billion human beings on this planet, have a choice of where the future of our world is going by choosing the way we act in every given moment, we realize that we are capable of creating great change. When we look at the great change that happened throughout our history, it always started off with one person who inspired others. You might be that person. You might be the person that the world is waiting for to inspire millions to create big change. So don't be afraid to realize that you, one individual, has way more power than you realize. And when we can stop being servants to this matrix system that continues having us believe that we are powerful and that we don't matter and that we have no control over what is happening. We have control over ourselves and over our direct environment. And the way we behave in our own lives and in our own environment will have a snowball effect. Because if you treat people well, then others will be inspired to treat others around them well. So start paying attention to the fact that yes, you have way more power than you realize. The next card we have here is the Crow. So I pulled these from the Mystical Shaman Oracle card. So I actually wanted to read this here. So it says here, Crow is the keeper of universal law, the law of truth. Remember, beautiful souls, that 2023 is the year of 7, which is the year of truth. This is the year of revelations where bigger, bigger, bigger truths will be revealed and have been being revealed. So Crow teaches us to walk our talk, to find congruence between who we say we are and who we really know ourselves to be. This winged one insists that we speak truth, that we create truth instead of searching for it, and that we bring truth to every situation we find ourselves in. Yes, beautiful souls. How many of us tell people that we are one way, but then when no one's looking, we're behaving in a completely different way? You know, actions speak louder than words. So you can say all the right things, but if your actions are not aligned with what you're saying, then I'm sorry, you are not being in your truth. And remember, it is the only truth that matters is the truth of God, is the truth of the universe, is the truth of the one supreme creator, whatever you want to call it here. The divine truth is the only truth that matters. And when you are not being authentic, when you are not being your most authentic self and are lying to yourself, most importantly, then you are lying to God and you are lying to the universe and you are in one of the lowest vibrations possible. And so you are inspiring people to be the same, because remember, everything is energetic. And whether people are aware of that, they're picking up frequencies and energies all the time. Some are more aware that they're doing it than others, but we're all doing this all the time. So when you speak the truth and practice truth, eventually everything you say becomes true. Your power to co-create with the truth is the universal law. Correct what is untrue in your life without judgment. Let the truth set you free. Yes, beautiful souls. When we do not look at ourselves with truth and we don't want to see all parts of ourselves, then we are not being authentic and we are not being in our divinity. So the next card we have here is the Earth Keeper. Yes, and the numerology is a 9, number of completions. So we have completed a cycle, and the cycle is that you came here at this time with the divine mission to be an Earth Keeper, to be one of the people who would keep the earth safe as she goes through this transition, and to help others move through this transition as well. And if you find yourself on this video, it is because you have the mission to be a protector of the earth, to keep the earth and all its inhabitants, and to help move through this process. Now I'm just going to read a whole bunch of cards came out from this next deck. And so I'm just going to read them all one by one, and then I can show you the cards. So, actually, no, I'll just show the cards one by one. It's better that way. So the first card we have is Soul Family. Call in your tribe. You don't have to do it alone. Yes, beautiful souls, light keepers, light workers of this world. We are being reconnected because we came here as one big family to do something that is so great. And each and every one of us has a part of the puzzle. And when we realize that we are all interconnected and we all came here with the same mission to help the world ascend, to help humanity ascend, then we realize that we are not alone and that, you know, the whole world is helping us. And when we open ourselves up to the divine realm, we realize that the divine realm can become aware, can move through anything, can move through all kinds of things, can be in the plants, you know, divine nature, spirit nature, God, whatever you want to call it, is present everywhere. And when we open ourselves up to see that these messages from God, these messages from the universe can literally reach us from anything around us, we realize that we are well and truly not alone. So stop trying to be a people pleaser. Don't worry if people think you're mad. Don't worry if people think you're crazy. Stop giving a shit about what people think and start giving a shit about what you think and what works for you. Because the more you are in your authenticity, the more your tribe will come in. Next card we have is Star Mother. How can you mother yourself? Yes, beautiful souls, remember that all the issues that we have been feeling in our world are because of unprocessed childhood trauma. And I talk about this all the time, and it's not the big T trauma like you're in a car accident. It could be something as simple as, your parents weren't emotionally available. So you, as a result, haven't known how to be emotionally available for yourself. So you have to learn to be the mother that you wish that you had had at that time. You have to learn to nurture yourself and to love yourself. And they say that the closest love that God has for us is the love that a mother has for her child. So when you realize that you are both mother and child, and this goes even for the men, you are both mother and child. And once you start to treat yourself the way the most loving mother, right, the star mother treats her child, then things will shift. You will start to see the world in a very different light. Birthing a new age, birthing new creations, dreaming a new world into being. Yes, beautiful soul, you have a distinct mission that is part of co-creating with the universe to birth in a new age. And a new age is literally being created. Whether you can see it or not, it's happening, beautiful souls. And again, remember, there is so much censoring that is happening all around us that we're not fully aware of what is going on in the world around us. But a new age is literally being birthed. And this is why we have to accept what is dying, because changes are occurring. How many people actually like the system world in which we live? Unless you're a multi-billionaire and you're one of those people who likes to step on people to get to where you need to go, then, I'm probably sure that you're not benefiting from the system that we're currently in. Share your voice. Come out of the cave. Persecution, expression. Yes, parts of you still, from past lives, you were persecuted from sharing the knowledge that you have inside of you. But the universe, God, and everyone in the divine realms are literally telling us it is safe and needed for us to share our voice at this time. You hold an energetic frequency inside of you that is needed to be shared at this time. It is part of the ascension. There is something bigger at play, and each and every one of us has a part to play in this role. But the sooner we realize that sharing our authentic self is sharing our voice, and the sooner that we are not scared of sharing who we are and sharing whatever is sitting inside of our heart, the sooner the blessings will reach us. Dance with life. Do something to change your energy. Yes, if you are feeling stuck, if you are feeling that you have been in the stagnation, then you need to do something. You need to take yourself out of that energy. You maybe need to go on a little road trip. You need to go and, visit a friend who lives somewhere different. Maybe go travel to another country. You don't even have to travel far. Maybe even go on a staycation in your own city, but do something different. This will help you to shift, and this will help you to start seeing things with a new perspective. The ever unfolding rose cracked open. It's happening for you, not to you. Oh, I love this card because so many of us like to say, why is this happening to me? But don't take it personally. There is nothing happening to you specifically. There is something happening in the world at large, and this is happening, however it is affecting you on a personal level, is happening to show you where you are not being in your authenticity. This is a moment of learning, a moment for you to see where there are parts of yourself that you are still negating. There are parts of yourself that you still do not want to see. But remember, every single time you shun those parts of yourselves, you are keeping yourself in a lower state of vibration, and you will not be able to move into your blessing. So yes, It is not happening to you, it is happening for you. So if there's something, if shit is hitting the fan in your life and there are things not working out, ask yourself, ask God, ask the universe, ask the angels, whatever way you need to ask, whoever you need to ask, go into meditation and ask, why is this happening for me? What is there for me to learn from this experience? Because if it is uncomfortable and it continues to be uncomfortable, it's because we are not seeing the opportunity for growth and for learning. Next card we have is don't dim to fit in. How are you dimming your light in order to fit in? And this is what we mentioned. Where have you not been allowing yourself to express your true, authentic self? Because maybe many others, especially in your family, might have told you it is not okay for you to be this way, because somewhere in there was jealousy. There was jealousy that your light was so much brighter. And so they have tried to stuff you in a box when you were not meant to be in a box. You were meant to be all the way out here. So where have you been dimming your light? Where have you not been allowing yourself to be in your most authentic expression of who you are? Be loud, be out there, express yourself, and do not fear showing who you really are, because God and the universe and all of the divine realms are asking you to express this part of you, because again, it is an energetic frequency that is shared when you are in your authenticity. And you will not be able to see the impact that this has until you are actively doing it. And last but not least, we have Mintaken, longing for home, belonging, the original light workers. Yes, beautiful souls. You might have always felt that you didn't belong here. You might have always felt a deep longing for home, a longing that you didn't fit in here, that you somehow are so different to everyone else. And it is because you are. And it's because you were handpicked by God. You were handpicked by the universe to come and help God in this mission of helping humanity ascend, of allowing humanity to reach a higher state of consciousness so that we can stop killing each other and raping each other and treating each other the way that we do. Because when I look at the state of humanity and I see the things that human beings are able to do with to do to one another and somehow feel no remorse, then there is clearly something that is the matter here. There is something that is clearly very, very, very wrong. And the only way, how many of us ask, how can we change the world and how can we change the system? It is to change our consciousness and to start living in a consciousness of love and abundance and respect and connection to the divine, as opposed to continuing to pretend that we are godly and divine people, but when we're behind closed doors, we do all kinds of ungodly things, and we do things that God would not be happy with. So pay attention to where you are not being in your divinity and where you are perhaps lying to yourself. Because if you are lying to yourself, beautiful souls, I'm sorry to say, you will not be moving forward. If you wish to move forward, if you wish to reach your greatest potential, then it is important that you start to see that your difference is your uniqueness. And the sooner you start to share that with the world, the sooner you will be receiving all of your blessings. So love and light to you all. Continue on this journey. I know some of these messages have been harsh. Please know that these are not coming from a place of judgment, but that there are bigger things at play, and that we each, every single one of us, has a part to play. And the sooner that we realize that as one individual human being, we are that powerful to make the change in this world. So keep strong, like the video, share with people if you feel that they will resonate with this message, and I'll see you soon. Bye for now.